Yo, welcome to the Wiz Tribe where the only limits is in our mind. JadensWisdom back with another banger. Giving you knowledge. Why? Because knowledge is power. Today's topic of the video, discipline or self-discipline. And discipline has been up and coming recently, with the advancement of self-improvement, on social media really pushing that. But not a lot of people actually know how to practice self-discipline. Well, when they actually say self-discipline, they really mean self-control. But that's a topic for another video. But for the purpose of this video, we're going to say discipline. We're going to use the word discipline. When it comes to building self-discipline in yourself, that's something that's very important because internally, if you have no form of self-control, you are a slave to your impulses. Why is that important? That's important because if you're a slave to your impulses, you're never going to have direction in your life. You're never going to be able to point yourself in a direction that you want to go that directly benefits you. You're constantly only going to be adapting to the waves of the world and life. And sometimes that's not going to be so good. And that can send you down a path that you don't want to go down. So you need self-control. Now, what people don't tell you and what people aren't really understanding about self-discipline is that there's two types of discipline, right? The first type is called passive discipline. Now, why is it called passive discipline? Because it's passive, bro. It is called passive discipline because these are the actions, right? Passive discipline includes the actions that you would make yourself not do, right? There's two types of actions. The actions we make ourselves do and the actions we make ourselves not do. So passive discipline includes the actions that you're not doing. These are things like breaking addiction or breaking a bad habit. Let me give you an example from my personal life. Last year, during around March or April, I decided I wanted to stop eating junk food. I wanted to stop eating fast food. And I had, at this point in my life, I would go on to make one of the most dietary changes in my life that I have ever made, but it didn't start off as big. So what I did is I decided in my mind that I wanted to stop eating fast food. Now, this was something that was a little bit more difficult for me. Why? Because I'm a college student and I go to college downtown in New York City. And if you know New York City, you know that there's tons of fast food places, tons of food spots, tons of great dishes everywhere. So I had to really decide, every time I come out of class, I would usually get food. But now that I had made this decision in my mind that I didn't want to eat fast food anymore, I had to consciously make the decision every time I got out of class and seen the fast food spots and got the urge to walk past it. I had to stop myself from taking the action of going to the fast food place and buying the fast food. This is what passive discipline is. Now, let's move on to how we can build passive discipline. The way you build passive discipline is you have to start off, right? And this may sound anticlimactic or, a bland answer, but this is truly how you do it. You have to start off with controlling the small actions first. You have to start small. And I know this is what everyone says, but here's the reason why you have to start small. You can start big if you want to, right? If you think you have a strong enough willpower to start strong and really just go cold turkey, by all means do it. I'm not telling you that there's a specific order to things. It's really just what suits you. But the method that I would use is you would start small because of the simple fact that you have to get your body and your mind used to what discipline actually is. Let's break this down, right? If you're introducing something foreign to yourself for the first time and you're trying to go all big on it and go all the way on it, there's more of a chance that yourself is going to reject that foreign thing. However, if you're introducing it in small increments, there's a higher chance that you can slowly but surely build up your tolerance to that thing and be able to accept that foreign thing into yourself. You have to get your system, your internal system, used to the process of passive discipline. So essentially stopping doing the things that are small that you don't really need to be doing that you still do. This is going to be easier because you don't have as much of a emotional connection and emotional value connected to the thing that you're going to be cutting off with the small things. And that's why this method works. Now, the next part for how you build this is you have to stay consistent with this process, because momentum is something that's very important when it comes to change. And if you're not being consistent with this, you're not going to be able to build enough momentum to make a real lasting impact internally. Then, by doing this process over and over and over, you're going to see that over time, your natural resistance to things is going to go up. Your natural self-discipline is going to rise. And then you're going to find that you're going to be able to have an easier time being self-disciplined with the things that you actually want to make a change with in your life, which is the things like breaking addiction or breaking a bad habit. Now, the second part, active discipline, right? Why is it called active discipline? Well, these include the things that you make yourself do, like I said before. Unlike passive discipline, this one takes a little bit more effort because you're actively pushing yourself to do something that you don't have to do. So, what is an example of this? Well, let me give you another personal example so you can understand better. Around the same time that I made the diet change, I also decided to make a very big fitness change, right? I had gotten a little bit out of shape. I had gotten a little bit overweight. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I said, I don't want this stomach anymore, right? Because, your boy got a little bit chubby. But I was like, okay, let's fix this. So, what did I do when I seen myself in the mirror and I was unhappy with my body? Well, I decided I would start jogging and going up the stairs every single day. And what did I do? I did just that. However, it didn't start being an everyday thing until later on. I started doing runs 1 or twice or 3 times out of the week, right? And I would start off by basically, I live next to a bridge, right? So I would run that bridge from my house to around my grandmother's house at the time and back. And that was about, in total, around like 3.1 miles. For 1 to 2 to 3 days out of the week, I was running 3 miles every day. But I did take breaks, I did stop, and I didn't run it like straight through, right? I had to build that up. And then once I got used to this process a little bit more, that's when I started doing it, okay, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days. And each time I was running, I would take shorter and shorter breaks between when I stopped and started running again. And eventually, it led me up to being able to run there and back without taking any stops in between. That is a form of active discipline. Now, these are also including things like going to the gym, building a new habit, or actively committing yourself to making a change in your life. Now, there's one single difference when it comes to passive and active discipline that makes active discipline so much harder to achieve than passive discipline. And that one thing is discouragement. It's very, very vital for you to not let yourself fall into despair, fall into discouragement while you're on the process of making this change in your life, because it's something that can knock off your momentum completely. And like we just said before, momentum is very, very important for you to make a true change in your life. So how do you stop yourself from falling into discouragement and falling into despair so that you can achieve this active discipline in your life and be able to make success apparent in your life? Well, you have to remind yourself that no matter how much despair you're feeling, no matter how much discouragement you're feeling, you're going to achieve the goal eventually. Stop being in such a rush. Stop being so, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't be upset with your progress, because it's not a linear path. It's something that it may be flatlined for a while and then eventually, boop, it just shoots up. So you have to be patient. You have to talk to yourself all the time and remind yourself, I'm going to achieve it. When you feel that feeling of despair, just turn your brain off and keep going. And that's how I personally got past that, and that's how you get past the feeling of despair and discouragement to be able to achieve that active discipline in your life. And when it comes to discipline and when it comes to achieving goals in your life that you set, there's also something very, very important called the middle that I'm going to explain in one of the next upcoming videos. So stay tuned for that, and peace out, Wisdom Tribe. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Stay true to your grind, stay true to yourself, and you'll achieve your goals in no time, man. Jadens Wisdom out, y'all. See y'all next time.